this video means something to me. It's going to be impromptu and off the cuff, so I'm sorry ahead of time. I want to first state by saying I apologize for not uploading in a little bit. I have been very busy between editing videos for a conglomerate I work with, and on top of that, I am working on a massive metaphor video essay which will be coming out sometime by the end of November or early December. God willing, I cross my fingers on that. Let's sit down now and discuss the Game of the Year Award 2024 nominees, because I have to talk about this stuff before people get upset and say they're a sham, they don't matter, blah, 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 blah. That's cool that you feel that way. You're entitled to your opinion. I think they matter. I think they do show, just like any big award show, what the lens is, where culture's at the time and the response to it. You know, you look at the Grammys, everyone agrees they're a joke now because they're so culturally out of touch that literally no one cares, right? Literally no one looks at them, and you can ever look back and be like, oh, I'm listening to a Grammy nominated album. I wonder, you know, when this place of time was. And no one cares because they're so bad and they're so poorly ran. Game Awards are a little bit different because gaming is a pretty tight-knit niche, so a lot of the stuff is going to line up with what people are saying online, what people are saying in their real life, etc., etc. Which brings us to today. The Game Award 2024 nominations might be some of the worst nominations I've seen since I've been studying and researching this stuff. I'm talking all the way back to Spike VGAs in 2003. Gosh darn it. I'm talking all the way back to when Madden 2004 ended up winning a Game of the Year award, which was clearly an EA Sports Cloud pick. I have not seen some stuff like this. You feel me? This is atrocious. It is a crime against gaming. There's some stuff on here that makes me so irate, so upset that I can't believe that we're in this position. So let's look through it. Let's sift through it together again off the cuff. Best esport team, I don't know. I'm giving it to T1, the GOATs. Best esport athlete, Faker. Let's skip past this. Let's talk about the best esport category. This has to end. Give it to Counter-Strike, Dota, whatever Mobile Legends is, Valorant, all this. It has to stop. There's been so many fighting games out there that have created so many clips and so many moments that it boggles my mind, especially this year, that they're never nominated. No Tekken 8 mentions, no Street Fighter 6 mentions, none of these ongoing titles. You can't even argue they're too small because they are massive culturally, especially the gaming zeitgeist, and they're only getting bigger. So I don't understand how they constantly miss the boat for best esport title, whereas esports is all these other games. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Next, content creator of the year. Okay, you know, cool. I'm gonna give it up to Pecora. I've seen them around. Cool VTuber. Say Queso's cool. You know what I'm saying? Good picks. Most anticipated game. Don't even know why this category exists at this point, especially these days. Grand Theft Auto 6 sweeps. It's not even up for debate. If you want my purse, though, it's still GTA 6. Best adaptation, it's gonna be Fallout or Arcane. Not much else is gonna even match. Best multiplayer, probably gonna go to Helldivers 2. Right, for sure. It created such a massive community and all that good stuff. I would personally give it to Mario Party Jamboree. This game's been a blast. I argue one of the best Mario Party games in a while. So yeah. Moving forward, sports racing. This stuff doesn't even matter, man. Like, it's F1 24, I guess. Best sim strategy. Here we go. You guys are about to rant. This is how it starts. Age of Mythology Retold. Okay, good strategy game. Frostpunk 2. All right, cool strategy. Sure. Kunitsu Gami, okay, valid. Really dope take on the real-time strategy formula, you know. Manor Lords, valid, cool pick. Unicorn Overlord, if I'm not mistaken, that's like a strategy RPG, right? Just double checking. So I respect it. I think it definitely deserves a place here, you know. I think it's one of the best strategy games that's come out in recent memory, especially in terms of art style and visuals, and its art direction is vanilla where they never miss. So, you know, I got that joint physically. I haven't quite gotten through it, but yeah, sure. I think this is definitely, you know, it's definitely on there. So let's move forward. Best family. We got Astrobot. We got Princess Peach Showtime. Super Mario Party. You guys get the gist. I think it's going to go to Astrobot or Mario Party Jamboree for sure. Probably Astrobot, right? Probably Astrobot here. It's a really great 3D platformer. I got my critiques. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Best fighting. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Okay, sure. Valid. Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. Okay. MVC. I love MVC. This is a collection, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fighting games weren't that dry this year. You could have thrown an indie fighter on there, like Dojo Masters. You know what I'm saying? There's something, you know, some games you could have put on there, but hey, it is what it is. Multiverses. How does Multiverses get another nomination for best fighting game? when it already won Best Fighting Game. One on Multiverse's part, still an embarrassment, still an absolute dumpster fire. Insane that you could leave, come back, and get nommed again. This makes no sense, objectively. You know, the Best Fighting category has always had some issues. This is the one that makes no sense. If you want to go there, because expansions are allowed, which we'll touch, why is it Mortal Kombat Chaos Reigns here? It just, Mortal Kombat 1 Chaos Reigns could easily slot this, WB. It makes no sense. And it's not even good. I'm good. Tekken 8. Great game. I mean, it's got some issues online and some stuff going on right now. It is what it is. Personally, if I had to pick one, probably go to Sparking Zero. The single player content is so fun. I've been having a blast with it, and the story modes and everything they had with the what ifs. I liked it. I put a good 19 hours in. I had my time, and I just enjoy the campaign run. My runner up would be Tekken 8 free. You know, I love the mechanics of T8. Best RPG, Dragon's Dogma 2, Shadow of the Erdtree. I'm already. I know. Hold. We have a Best RPG contender right here. That's not DLC, by the way. It just slotted in. Even if it's not gonna win, just slot it in. But it is what it is. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and the Metaphor ReFantazio. Does it take a rocket scientist to see which should win Best RPG here? It's got to be Metaphor ReFantazio. You know what I mean? Like I said, I worked out the essay. It's one of the best, most artistically creative games of all time in recent memory. This thing means something to me. It's one of the. It's just glaze is not enough. Praise is not enough. It's peak. It is the accumulation of what Atlas and the Studio Zero teams have been trying to accomplish for decades, and they nailed it. And their take on fantasy is so innovative. It's so fresh, and I highly recommend you watch some interviews and some documentaries and all that good stuff. It's just crazy. Best action adventure: Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaw. Excuse me? This is what I mean. Like, we're trolling, right? Star Wars Outlaws. Did Dragon Age Velgar not come out? Just double checking. Did DAV not drop? Did it just miss the boat? I don't think it did. So what are we doing with this pick? No one liked this game. Literally no one. You could even say it's an Ubisoft pay. They don't have money. They're bankrupt. They're going bankrupt. They don't even have money to sponsor this. That means people on the cabinet said they threw their hands up, did no searching, did no research, did not look into any of the indies that dropped, and said Star Wars Outlaws. You are trolling. This is preposterous. Even if you want to go there, just throw the RPG on. Just throw DD2. You are literally... I can't believe these picks, man. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, sure. You got it. Well, I do like that Prince of Persia's nommed. I heard it was an exquisite Metroidvania. I put a couple of hours in. It's fun. It's very good. I enjoyed my time. The demo they gave was also great. We'll leave it there. Best action game: Black Myth Wukong. Okay. Black Ops 6. Okay. Helldivers 2. Okay. Stellar Blade. Pretty good pick. Warhammer Space Marine 2. Nothing to complain about here. I think these are all very, very valid, very strong picks. Got not much to say. I think I would personally give it to probably Helldivers 2, honestly. I think that was one of the most fun action experiences I've had. But any one of these are valid, IMO. Any one of these are valid. It's going to be a tough race there. Best VR AR game. I do keep up with the VR space. I ain't finna lie. It's been dreadful. I gotta be honest. Yo, Meta's kind of running everything now, and it shows. PC VR is essentially dead. We get a couple PC VR type titles every once in a while, but like it's not been great. And I don't got much words to say about the current state of the scene. It's if you like FPS in VR, you got plenty to choose from. If you like Waggle in VR with Asgard Wrath and your slash games, you got them. But it's not looking great. Personally, I think I would probably move Metal Hellsinger VR or Batman Arkham Shadow and replace it with Bladed Sorcery, like its full release, because they left early access and it's been great. It's one of the coolest little RPGs because of its physics engine. It's basically the Boneworks of fantasy, right, of VR space, and they did a lot of good stuff with it. But again, does it now? History won't know. You know what I mean? Obviously, people could research and stuff, but you have to be in the know to know about this stuff, and that's their job, not mine, the YouTuber. It's their job to research. They're the cabinet members, not me. Just putting that out there. Best mobile game. Zenless Zone Zero, man. I don't know. Best debut indie game, Animal Well, Baracho, pretty good picks. Yeah, I think it's gonna go Baracho. I think this game was such an innovative, fun roguelike card game. It's just simple, but it's so great. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it really addicting, and it's got one of the coolest gameplay loops of all time. Best independent game, once again, gonna be a toss-up between Baracho and UFO 50 here. Probably leaning towards Baracho for sure, but all great picks. Got not much to say on that. Best community support, again. They got it, man. They got it. Yo, 14. Yo, Fortnite. No Man's Sky. Those are your three. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, I guess. It's just gets patches, I guess, man. Best ongoing. I don't even know, man. I'm out. Games for Impact. Again, I don't keep up with that space. Innovation accessibility. Oh. Well, wait. Everyone pause. Is that Dragon Age the Velguard? That's DAV? Am I mistaken? So it definitely can be put on here. Just making sure. I don't know why I'm just saying. I don't shoot the messenger. I'm just wondering why Star Wars Outlaws was an action adventure. Okay, I'm just trying to figure that out because that category's always been scuffed. That's the most scuffed it's been. There's other games. That's all I'm saying. I'm just making sure I'm not crazy. Best performance. Always a hard one because it's, voice acting, performance capture. They usually lean more towards people that are, doing mocap or a game has mocap elements, which kind of sucks because, there's characters in Metaphor that give outstanding performances, for example, but it's all voice acted. So it's kind of rare to see that, come up, unfortunately. If I were to give it to someone, I mean, it's going to be a toss-up between Brianna White and Luke Roberts, in my opinion. I think Brianna White's Aerith was phenomenal, really brought a lot of life to the character, gave me some new perspective that I never even had played the original. So, kudos to both the team behind it, that brought that joint to life. And then on top of that, just the performance that was given by Brianna White, and Luke Roberts, I think from everything that I've seen and heard, it's still in the shrink wrap, as you guys can see here. So in the shrink wrap, I think he gave a very standout performance to kind of captures the classic Silent Hill 2 experience. So big fan. Best audio design. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Astrobot. Sure. Best score in music. Astrobot. Rebirth. Valid. Metaphor. Silent Hill 2. Stellar Blade. I mean, hey, I got nothing else to say. I think these are all banger picks. Straight up. I think these are all goated picks. If I were to give it to one, it's probably going to go to a toss between Rebirth and Stellar Blade, to be honest with you. Rebirth kind of edges out for me a little bit. Metaphor also has a really good OST, but I just re-listened to it on Spotify recently. There's some tracks that are, just, average, so to speak. They're not bad by any means. They're not, they're not awful. They're just, it's background music. It's ambiance, right? And it's in a very JRPG way that makes you kind of tune out and not, focus into the melodies, if you catch my drift. Rebirth does not give you a chance to do that. It's always bombastic, and I love how they keep interpreting the main FF7 theme as you traverse the overworld and stuff. It's cinema, man. It's cinema. Yeah, Stellar Blade also has a very standout OST that I think is going to go under the radar, to be honest with you. Best art direction. Astrobot. Black Myth Wukong. And here's where it starts. We're trolling. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I start crashing out. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. How? Did we not? I gotta ask. Did we not have Elden Ring win 2022? Yes or no? So if it's a DLC, if it's an expansion to Elden Ring, what in the art direction is pushing the envelope, is changing the game, is making it feel so unique, so different from the base game? If its entire point as an expansion is to expand upon what the base game did. Is it good art direction? Absolutely. Should it have another chance at running? No. That's like having Star Wars Episode 4 drop, win all the Oscars, right? George Lucas comes out and says, no, wait a second. I'm doing Star Wars Episode 4 expanded director's cut, and then it's allowed to run for the Oscars again, and they give them all the flowers again. That makes no sense. That you adding 10 minutes, or in this case 8 hours to 10 hours to whatever worth of content, is it's not substantial enough, especially for best art direction, especially in a year where art direction was through the roof. For crying out loud, Stellar Blade could have been here. It's got a really unique take on the sci-fi design. Dragon's Dogma 2 came out this year. Silent Hill 2 exists, has a very creative art direction. I can't emphasize enough. They keep snubbing Unicorn Overlord, and Vanillaware's exquisite art direction in every one of the games they've dropped, with its gorgeous hand painted look. And it's got this watercolor visual. It feels like this fantasy game brought to life in the most unique way imaginable. But forbid this get nommed for best art direction. Look at the box art. My God, look at this. Look at the disc. That is blood, sweat, and tears. That is drawn. You know what I'm saying? And these fellas say, oh my gosh, man. You can't, like, you just laugh. I can't help but laugh. It's comedy. It's comedic. It's funny. It's funny. Metaphor ReFantazio being here, sure, dub, right? We got to give it up. I think it's got such a unique take on the fantasy genre, especially if you watch the dev interviews and listen to how they talk about how they approach fantasy, which is why it's so unique, it's so different, it's so fresh. Like, they nailed it, man, and they brought it to this like Renaissance era and kind of deconstructed a lot of that ideology. It's sick. It's sick. Best narrative. FF7 Rebirth. Okay. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Oh, shoot. So, Like a Dragon, if it's going for best narrative, like, it has a shot, right? Metaphor Refit. Valid. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I must have... I apologize. I don't remember anyone talking about the narrative of this game. So I'm in the wrong. My fault. I wasn't keyed in. I don't even remember reviewers talking about the narrative of Senua's Saga because no one liked it. It got 6 and 5s across the board. So I don't know how it got nommed, but all right. I guess that's all you need to get it these days. Yo, forget all the other stuff that dropped this year. Like, come on, man. Persona 3 Reload, mid. You know, remasters and remakes are clearly allowed. Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. Can't have that. You can't have P5R, man. Okay. All right, man. Or sorry, P3R. Sorry, P3R. Can't have P3R though. You know, like a that, dude. SMT5 Vengeance. Could have thrown that on. All right. Unicorn. Oh, no, I can't throw that on either. All right. No, it's cool. It's cool. Silent Hill 2, sure. Right, sure. Silent Hill 2, sure. This is a toss-up. I think Metaphor should take it for sure. I think it's going to be a tie between Like a Dragon Infinite and Metaphor, high key. These two have some of the best narratives that I've heard of. Like a Dragon, at least I've heard of. Rebirth, I do enjoy the narrative quite a bit, but you know, y'all know how I feel about Chapter 8, the Barrett section. Literally the biggest misstep in the entire remake trilogy thus far. It's so infuriatingly dumbfounding the decisions they made to handle with Barrett, and I will never forgive them for that. But yeah, I think these two are going to be the runners. Best game direction. Okay. Astrobot. Hold. I'm almost there. I promise I'll cook this game in a second. Baratro. Again, I got nothing but positivity. If it sweeps, good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great game. Black Myth Wukong. I think that's questionable. I think that's questionable. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. We're trolling. Stop the cap. One of the biggest complaints about this DLC was literally what it was doing game design wise. Looking for all the little sproutlings, all the seeds to power yourself to go take all the boss, all that stuff. Guys, stop trolling. This isn't funny anymore. It could have went to Helldivers 2 and its innovative take on involving its community with its live service elements and watching stuff happen in real time as people call in lasers across the world in different game instances. All that. To me, that's pretty crazy game direction. We're taking the horde mode concept and going crazy, but here we are. Could have went to Silent Hill 2 remake. Could have went to Persona 3 Reload, DD2, Unicorn. Oh, nope. DLC. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the new rule, man. Rebirth, outstanding, and Metaphor ReFantazio. Sure. I don't got much to say in terms of these, I have my personal game direction pick. I think it should go to Rebirth. I know it won't, but I think it should go to Rebirth or Baratro. One of the most addicting gameplay loops of all time, and this is just one of the most well-paced video games I've ever played. Like, you approach that 60-hour mark, and you don't even feel that stuff. And I disagree with anyone that says otherwise. It is that good. Like, I just, it's fire. For a game that is as long as it is, it's crazy how there's not a single moment in that game where I felt like they were padding things out or slowing the game down. Like, none of that, right? People are going to argue the mini games, this, that, and the third. No, I'm doing what you do, man. Like, it's an RPG. Gosh darn it. If when they say go blend into the swimsuit area, that's not padding. We're blending in because Shinra owns everything. All right, lock in. All right, have some fun with your video games. I'm just saying. All right, I'm done. But, you know, overall, -2 picks IMO. Not 3 low key, but I'm gonna speak on Astrobot in a second. Not bad. Okay, I think it's a toss up between these 3. You know, I think it's gonna go to. I think it should go to Baratro low key. I think this is a valid pick, but you know, my personal heart says Rebirth. Metaphor. I have gripes with the Persona system. I've always had gripes with the Persona calendar system and everything, and it borrows a lot from that. Which is why I'm a little, you know, I'm a little, you know, taken aback. I think there's better ways they could have executed some of their ideologies in this game, which I'll talk about in the essay. But it's still great, you know. I just don't think like direction wise, it's like one of the goats. I think it's up there, but I think it has its pitfalls. Do you guys notice how I clicked close tab? Yes. And this didn't change. Nothing swapped. That's not normal. Okay, that's not normal. If I were to show you the nominees of other Game of the Years, that wouldn't happen. Usually, game direction and Game of the Year is different, you know? Maybe like Senua Saga, for example, would get game direction nom, but wouldn't get a Game of the Year nom, like the overall, right? Okay. Why is it that from what I can remember, for the first time in Game Awards history, I click close tab, it's the same list. Like, it's like, I feel like I was going crazy. I'm like, wait, there's no way, right? There can't be. That's strike one. That's just disrespect. I don't care. You cannot tell me out of all the things we've seen this year, the same game direction picks are the same as the Game of the Year picks. This is laziness. It's laziness or it's cap. That's it. Plain and simple. One of these games, I don't care. One of these games, 3 of these games, low key, should not be spinning the block repeating. Let's just keep it up, buck. And one of those 3 should have been replaced. And I'm gonna talk about which ones, okay? And I'm gonna have a good argument for them. But then we look at the list. Game of the Year, Astrobot. Now I'm going off. Astrobot, I beat. I didn't do a video on Astrobot. My apologies. But I got problems with this game. Is it fun? Absolutely. Is it a good game? Absolutely. I think it's great even. Does it have problems? Not really. You know, objectively speaking, not really. There's not many bugs or anything. So what's my beef? Astrobot is just nostalgia bait. The whole time. The whole game. It's cute at first. When you're swept up, you play it for that first, you know, the day it comes out. I'm playing through. It's like a 30-hour or 13-hour, 14-hour game. My apologies. I'm having a blast. I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, is this an Ape Escape level? Awesome. Is this Loco Roco? Awesome. Right? I'm having a gay old time, right? And then my brain does this thing where I start utilizing it while playing. I start thinking about, well, this is cute and all, and I like Team Asobi. It's like former Japan studio, you know, members and whatnot. But something feels a little off. You know, you get to that God of War gameplay section, you go, hey, I think this is kind of whack. You know, why are we doing God of War 2018 stuff? You know, we can't even throw it back to PS2 with the whole game's a nostalgic throwback. Okay. You get to Horizons, and you're like, oh, why are we doing Horizon stuff? Isn't this game, like, on my PlayStation, like, on PS Plus? Can't I just play this? You know, I'm sure, like, surely we could have done a Jumping Flash throwback, right? Because it's a Japan studio game. You know, they own the IP. Surely we could have done, like, a Sneak Geek section, like Siphon Filter, because, you know, yeah, Sony owns that. Just saying, you know, it would have been cute. It would have been cool. Maybe there's a Gravity Rush section we could have done. You know, I'm just saying. Oops. Oops. Maybe there's a Shadow of the Colossus section we could have done. You know? No? No? Okay. So no, we don't get to do those. We do Uncharted, we do Horizon, we do a God of War segment, and you get two nostalgic little throwbacks, which are Ape Escape and the Loco Roco section. That's not enough for me. It felt disingenuous. It felt like even when a game that is trying its hardest to appeal and remember the good old days of what PlayStation used to be, it is constantly being hampered down by corporate meddling. And my brain instantly went there because I despite the cute exterior, I'm still playing a Sony game. This ain't Nintendo, where Nintendo stays true to their beliefs, right? Mario is Mario, Zelda is Zelda. Those games don't be deviating too much from their formula, right? When Sony comes back and goes, let's try to get that 3D platform audience, you know what I'm thinking of? Don't you have IPs to do this? Why are you making Astro Bot your main guy? What happened to Sly Cooper, Sony? You can hire, there's plenty of independent platforming teams out there that had in time devs, for example, people that did ukulele, etc. You could reach out to them and say, hey, let's get Sly Cooper back. Let's reboot this joint. Kids would love it. Astrobot's proof, obviously. Kids want this stuff. People want this stuff. But you guys don't do that. No. We get nostalgia spam. It's cute at first, and then you turn it off, and you think about that game after you're done, and you realize, dang, this would have hit harder if Sony actually cared about these IPs. And they weren't constantly forcing Team Asobi, essentially, is what it feels like to me, to remind everyone of how good Sony used to be. It's frustrating. And that's why, while it's great, and I'm not going to hold the game for being nominated, I personally would not have it in the running for Game of the Year, at least. I think, you know, there was other titles here that probably could have deserved it, but because it at least came out this year and it's still a fun game, I don't have any gripes. It is a 9 out of 10. It's like a 10 out of 10. I don't have any personal gripes. It's personal beef with Sony. It's the company. It's what Astrobot represents. That is my problem with it, and that's deep. My apologies. But it should stay. Baratro, pretty valid pick. Just classic good gaming, right? Addictive gameplay loop, very solid. Not much to say. Honestly, I hope he gets it. I hope the dev gets it. Moving on. Black Myth Wukong. I didn't really get to play this game, and that's also why it shouldn't be nominated. That sounds like, oh, you brokey, you stupid person. No. Hold the phone. Let me explain why. I didn't get to play this game because I chose not to. You know why I chose not to? Because it doesn't run on anything that isn't a NASA supercomputer. This game has so many issues trying to hit its beloved 60 FPS that is essentially needed for Souls-like games, in my opinion, that you need to do DLS frame gen, FSR3 frame gen, anything to get this game to hit around 60 on high-end cards, which, as you guys know, pretty hard to get for the PC port. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. It's an Unreal Engine 5 intense game, and of course it has stutter. So that's all of that's fun, but I personally am going to hold off and wait for patches, which still haven't come from what I understand and what I've looked up. So there's at least the PS5 version, right? That doesn't work on performance mode. It hovers around 40 to 50, yeah, that's generous, 40 to 35 FPS in high intense sections, which is all the boss fights and all the major set pieces of the game. So that's frustrating, which means, once again, very difficult to play unless you just don't mind playing at 30 FPS. And even that has struggles hitting its frame rate. So you would think, oh, I could get the PS5 Pro and brute force it, right? You can't even do that. You can't even do that on the Pro. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to finally sit down and fully enjoy this title without it being a stuttering, issue, because that stuff really affects me. I'm not a big fan of that. It makes it really hard to play those kinds of games. But despite that, it looks great. I'm assuming it plays good. I'm assuming the gameplay stuff is pretty cool. I'm going to just give it the benefit of the doubt and say it should be on here. Okay, it did something new for the industry. It showed a new side of where games can be developed, and that's always awesome. At the end of the day, despite my gripes with its performance, notice how these two games, they should be fine, right? I don't got much else to say. I think, I got gripes personally with them. That's all. And Astrobot, it's not even with Team Asobi. I love those guys. It's Sony. I don't like Sony. I don't even mind this. It's just, get that performance fixed. This is where I crash out. This should not be allowed. Not only do we have a plethora of Souls-likes you could have chose from this year, that dropped this year, by the way. Last Ronin came out. You have Stellar Blade. I'm sure there's some other indie-esque titles that came out. You have other Souls-likes to fill this position if you need it that desperately. But we have an expansion that over time wasn't even widely received. Like after that first month, all I saw were people complaining about most of the fights in this. And complaining about how it was directed, aka how you go about depowering level the bosses, people saying you basically need summons to do a lot of these fights, etc. Like this, despite the typical FromSoft game hard and everyone, being in their tribes of how to play, I don't know, a Souls RPG, this game clearly has a couple of problems, at the end of the day. Or expansion. I know you don't want to call it a game. It's expansion. Not to mention, it's already won Game of the Year. So we don't need another Elden Ring run back. I think that's whack. And it's taking away, historically, from other titles that came out this year that did do, or at least attempt to do something new or innovative. And those games don't get the chance to shine now because we have Elden Ring here. And it could have easily been replaced by anything that dropped. I mean, for crying out loud, we had Dragon's Dogma 2, we had Unicorn Overlord, we had Silent Hill 2, we had UFO 50, we had Animal Well, we had all sorts of other indie titles, right, that you could have chosen from. You could throw 2 on there, man. Why not? Hades 2 should be allowed for this pick at this point. It doesn't matter if it's early access. If we could have expansions be on here, throw that on too, man. The Persona 3 Reload drop, dude, this is insane to me. Insane. It's frustrating. You could have just made a new expansion category and put like Destiny 2 Final Shape, Dawn Trail, Shadow of the Erdtree. There are so many ways to fix it, and they chose none of them. And that's frustrating. That's beyond frustrating for me. I'm sorry, it is. I gotta be honest. Next is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I got no comments on. I think it deserves its slot. I've been championing it as a Game of the Year contender since it started. I'm happy to see it nommed again. My only hope is this time it can at least get a chance of winning. To be honest, I think these 3 picks, Baracho, Rebirth, Metaphor, I think those are my 3 that I would have no problems, no qualms in. Astrobot, to a lesser extent, if it wins, that's great. I mean, Team Asobi, they're the GOATs. They've made some of my favorite games of all time, so I really have nothing negative to say, but it is what it is. If they do, I just hope Sony doesn't take away the wrong message and make Astrobot 5000s and instead says, oh, well, we have other IPs we should probably bring alongside the Astrobot nostalgia games. And then we have Metaphor ReFantazio. And what's interesting is, if you guys probably don't know, because I haven't made the video yet, this is my pick, because you guys know how much I love Rebirth. Metaphor ReFantazio is my Game of the Year pick. This game is something that I champion in the sense of, this is a video game that it can only be done in story, and the way it's executed and everything can only be told in the video game medium, right? Like, that's what makes a title like Metaphor ReFantazio so beautiful. Because if you try to execute the story and do what the story wants you to see in any other format, it doesn't work. It just can't. I don't see a world where you could pull it off or adapt it successfully without something being lost in translation, something essential. But Metaphor is a game. Like, everything that it's doing with its story and its visuals and its arts, like, and the way the gameplay even flows, like, it's something that can only be achieved through the medium and the art that is gaming, and that's what makes it so important to me. On top of that, its story, it's bar none one of the smartest things Atlus has ever done, and its deconstruction of the fantasy genre is exquisite. What it's trying to say with its messaging is genuinely beautiful. And there's so much about this particular title that speaks to me, and you guys will hear about it very soon, so I'm gonna leave it there. I think that should definitely win for sure, but it is what it is. But this right here is the problem with the game industry. You know what I mean? It's the constant breaking of the rules, skirting the line, etc., just because cabinet members or whoever doesn't want to do their research. And I'm low-key sick and tired of it. I'm doing a video in the far future, don't hold me to it, soon, going over the entire history of the video game awards, at least the mainstream ones, from the Spike VGAs all the way up until what we're dealing with here in 2024, and it'll probably release around the 2025 season, because I'm going to be covering and discussing each of the games that are in there, right? And what I've learned and what I've realized and what I'm understanding here is there is an ebb and flow in this. You do see trends in how game critics move. You do see how this stuff has affected how games even get made and what games get talked about. And that is real, lore. They kind of control history in a way, because when gamers look back, like myself, younger gamers especially that are really into this medium, they look back at what's obtainable, what's historically obtainable, and what gets talked about the most is what gets shown. So a lot of games go under the cracks, especially with the advent of indies. And I'm from eras where I've seen games that I remember being lauded and shown as some of the best of all time slowly fade away into the live stream, essentially, because they didn't get the historical backing. And that's just the nature of award shows and stuff. But this one, the reason why I'm crashing out, the reason why I'm so upset is because it's egregious. It's a straight disregard for historical landmarks in the future for gaming, because you are nominating an expansion. You know what I mean? Like, you have titles here that could have taken this off, that came out, that were made this year, that were made single player products this year, and they do not get a chance to succeed because FromSoft boggles my mind. Breaking the rules because you're afraid of change, that to me is desperation. This could have easily been Persona 3 Reload. This could have easily been SMT5 Vengeance. This could have easily been Unicorn Overlord, another Sega title if you want something that isn't a remake or a remaster or whatever you want to call it. This could have easily been a Dragon's Dogma 2. This could have easily been a Silent Hill 2 remake if you did a sneak like you did Resident Evil 2 remake. This could have easily been a UFO 50. This could have easily been one of my favorite indies of this year, Mullet Mad Jack. This could have easily been anything else. Anything else. Anything else. And you decide to choose the expansion. And I know why. It's because it's going to win. You can mark my words. And that to me it's not a flex. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to all of these people that put in overtime, put in work to make a single player enjoyable experience, 2024 game. And they're getting overshadowed by an expansion that was 4 years in the making. That is 10 to 13 hours long, by the way, that has questionable gameplay decisions from a title that already released. I have to emphasize, and already won Game of the Year. This isn't an Elden Ring so good it hasn't spin the block twice. To me, this is incompetence at the highest level. This is a cabinet who just doesn't care. You know what I mean? They couldn't let the biases go. And that's alarming. I don't like that. I'm out. Y'all be easy. I gotta go finish the metaphor essay. If you want to know how deep it is, we are 13 pages in. We're 13 pages in. So I will see you guys sometime in December. Sorry for the impromptu video. This isn't even gonna be edited. I'm just sending it out there. Y'all be easy. Peace.